In terms of the services we offer, they are, of course, all services are pro bono. So we don't charge for any of the services we offer. And the services range from across the investment spectrum, mainly for foreign investors who are looking to invest in India. So starting from just the conception or inception stage where somebody is wondering whether they should invest in India, uh, all the way through to establishing the investment, grounding the investment, to any aftercare services that are needed. And I think the value we bring to the table is that we are the bridge, essentially, between business and investors on the one hand, and the Indian government on the other hand. Because of how we are set up, the Indian government looks at us as a part of their structure. But if you talk to us or visit our office, you will be surprised how corporate we are, and most of our staff has corporate backgrounds, and so we talk the language of the business and the investors, and so essentially we that is the value we bring to the table.
We just want to understand, first of all, from you, what are the India credentials with US companies in the past, and what is India offering to the companies which are shifting or expanding its operation from other countries after COVID period? And what comfort India is offering to those companies in terms of plug and pay model to start the operation from day one? Over to you, Mr. Hunar.
In terms of credentials, one just needs to step back and look at the long relationship that we have had. Um, in terms of what India offers to US investors, or to basically any investor, foreign investor looking at India.
Yes.
Let me talk about some very specific things that we, as Invest India, along with DPIIT and the Government of India, have been doing. And this, I think, this would be helpful to many of the investors and businesses who are listening to this in the audience. So we have been working on a number of projects that span across the spectrum of both from in terms of easing the regulations and the challenges there are in doing business in India, all the way to the other end of the spectrum where we are enabling, not just enabling, but we are incentivizing businesses in India. And I'll just quickly mention a few of these because I don't want to take too much of time. I know there is a very esteemed list of panelists right after me as well from
Yes.
the state governments and so on. The first one, I think, and I'll talk about the recent ones. The first one, the most important, is that we have set up what is known as like an empowered group of secretaries, which is headed by the cabinet secretary. It is a committee that has been set up with one sole purpose: to be extremely responsive, to make sure that the Indian government is extremely responsive to businesses and investments that are facing any kind of challenge across their investment journey in India. So it is one committee, and it has members from all the ministries at the central level, the secretary level members, who are the real decision makers when it comes to the Indian bureaucracy. And then within each ministry, there has been set up a team called the Project Development Cell, the PDC. The idea of this within each ministry is to identify projects that are significant. There are various parameters they use to evaluate that, but identify projects that are significant and then proactively, suo moto, handhold them across this investment process, and provide them whatever incentives are needed, whatever kind of even if they are customized and so on, for them to establish and grow in India. So that's on one side. Then we have a number of projects we are doing, which I would kind of club into the whole digital transformation of the services that the government provides, and all of our state governments are partners with us on this one. So we have we're trying to establish a single window system at the national level. Now, anybody who's had any experience of doing in business in India knows the number of approvals and clearances you have to take even before you start doing business, start your operations. and how you have to go from to across a number of offices and number of ministries and so on. We are trying to establish just one portal where all these approvals, would be available, and the investor can figure out which approvals are applicable to him or her, and not just figure it out, but also apply and obtain these approvals on that portal, all digital. And in fact, the vision is that somebody sitting in, say New York or San Francisco, can just log into this portal, and they can online have a look at the land that is available, what are the facilities available. They can arrange video conferences, video meetings with the respective decision makers, and they can do they can go through the process on this portal. So that is in progress. We plan to release the first version of that in April next year. The second one we have is the Industrial Information System, which was recently released. The first version of it was recently released by the Honorable Commerce Minister. And it basically has what is known as the GIS, the Geographically Indicated System of Mapping, where again, it has information on all industrial clusters, industrial land banks available in India and so on, which you can access from anywhere in the world. And go through the process of identifying land, which is the most critical part of establishing any investment, and taking approvals and so on. This will be integrated with the single window system. Then we come to all the impetus that is being given to infrastructure, and this is where the PPP projects come in, the public-private partnership, the plug and play model, projects around that. And as you must have heard in the last budget speech, there is a pipeline already identified of these infrastructure projects spanning across, energy, utilities, roads, railways, setting up plug and play, land banks, and so on. That spans, that is a total of $1.4 trillion of investment. And of course, the government itself is not going to do all of it. It is looking actively for partnership from the private industry in establishing these projects. Interestingly, here again, we have a portal called India Investment Grid. And I would encourage everybody to have a look, whoever is interested, where we have listed all these projects. There are about, I think, more than 9,000 projects right now that investors can have a look at across plug and play, national investment pipeline, non-NIP, stressed assets that are up for monetization or sale and so on. And that is a massive area of reform and partnership that can be done. So I think there is a long list. I'll take a pause there.